Hello, Goans, and all those across the world who believe in harmony and humanity. This is an issue which is plaguing Goa in a manner that seldom issues have in Goa. In the last 3-4 days, Goa is literally burning with anger. A man named Gautam Khattar came to Goa, sponsored by a virulent right-wing organization, stood on stage and made despicable, objectionable and hurtful remarks against Goa's patron saint, Francis Xavier, revered not just by Catholics but across faith, not only by Goans but by people all over the country and the world. Many of you are aware of this controversy, reading about it, watching it, but today I'm going a step further. This video will look at what's even more troubling than the remarks that this Khattar made. This is about how two BJP MLAs and a BJP minister sat on stage as audience, literally genuflecting before this man and sitting in silence while these remarks were made. Post which, while they have paid some lip service at condemnation, this man, Gautam Khattar, was allowed to move away from the state and escape the police even as an FIR has been filed against him. Let's deep dive into this video and the issues that need to be unfurled.
सगळ्या फ्रंटाचे लॉ अँड ऑर्डर फेल जाल्लो आसा.
Let's talk about the Gautam Khattar controversy and more importantly, who failed Goa. Was it just Gautam Khattar? Goa is outraged and rightly so. A man named Gautam Khattar called Goa's patron saint, Francis Xavier, a terrorist. Yes, a terrorist on Goan soil.
इस धरती पर मुझे आज कोई बता रहा था सेंट जेवियर नाम का जो आतंकवादी था, बर्बर क्रूर शासक था, उसकी कोई स्थान है जहां पर वो मरा था.
This alone is grossly unacceptable to say the least. But what is even more unacceptable are the people, the MLAs and ministers who sat there, heard him speaking like this and did nothing. This is the uncomfortable question that nobody in power seems to answer. Why was there silence on stage? Why is the outrage stopping only at Khattar and not reaching those who enabled him, those who had a duty to protect Goa's sentiments, Goa's fabric and Goa's law and order? Let's be clear about what happened. Khattar, a so-called social media influencer, but not a scholar, not a theologian, was invited to Goa on a specific newly created platform clearly aimed at spreading venom. He was not called to speak only on Lord Parashuram. During that event in Vasco, in the presence of sitting elected representatives, he made remarks that insulted religious sentiments of Goans. Now we all know this, but where is Khattar? After FIRs were lodged against him, he is away from the state.
काल पुलिसांनी ब्रीफ केला. वी आर व्हेरी सिरियस म्हणून तर आमचे पुलीस जे आहा पळय न्ही ऑलरेडी डेहराडून गेले. ओके, आनी बाकीची फुडली कारवाई जी आहा पळय ती स्ट्रिक्टली तेजेर करपाक लायला. हांवें सांगलें हांव पर्सनली मॉनिटर करता, DGP मॉनिटर करता आनी ऑलरेडी नाजाल्यार आमी इतके फास्ट ट्रॅक करून डेहराडून आमच्या टिमीक सेपरेटली टीम गेला डेहराडून हांगासर, बट तो अजून लोकेट जायना. तो लोकेट जाताच क्षणी ताका उखलतले.
The opposition, of course, is up in arms, demanding his arrest, and some opposition voices are again rising. Civil society activists have been filing FIR. The Fatorda MLA Vijay Sardesai has openly demanded arrest Khattar before April 24th, arrest Minister Mauvin Godinho, act against the organizers. These are strong words, but is the government listening? Or more importantly, is it willing to listen? But the real story is no longer about what just Khattar said, but it's about who gave him legitimacy. Who sat on stage when he spoke? And why has there been no action against them, namely Mauvin Godinho Daji Salkar MLA, and Sankalp Amonkar MLA. We are talking about a sitting minister and two MLAs. This is not accidental presence. This is institutional endorsement of Gautam Khattar and his speech. Then of course comes the "we tried to stop him" claim. We tried to stop him but could not do anything. It was the spur of the moment. We couldn't stop him. Surely it was in the spur of the moment and you couldn't have gone and actually gagged Khattar. But what stopped you from standing up on stage and immediately asking him to stop, taking the mic and condemning him, and walking off the stage in protest, also asking him to leave? Why was that not done? You are elected representatives. You are on stage. Somebody is making offensive remarks against Goa's most revered character, most revered souls. He's a patron saint beyond the Catholics. He is a revered saint across faiths, across religions. And all that you can say, you MLAs, is you tried to stop him. Where is that visible? What does it even mean? And there's been no public condemnation. There was no public condemnation before this people's uproar that really happened. Now, what is even more shocking is that even after he made these remarks, these three MLAs, including the minister, sat through it, listened to it, and after that, Mauvin Godinho even went to the extent of rubbing salt in the wounds of Goans by apparently trying to even justify what Khattar said and blaming it, not blaming it, justifying it on he having to say this because of a situation or an atmosphere created by past governments and past people. It actually meant nothing. It was basically a very direct attempt on the part of Mauvin Godinho to shield Khattar and almost protect and give respect to the revered guest who spoke against Goa's most revered patron saint. Now, if this is not conspiracy through silence, what is it? If this is not complicity through silence, what is it? And then comes the bigger question. This Mauvin Godinho, who was present, is still continuing to be in position, functioning as a minister in the Pramod Sawant government, with no disciplinary action against him, no resignation by him, no termination by the chief minister, and not even a word stating that could happen. This silence from this minister, notwithstanding his belated remarks later, almost justifying Khattar's remarks, is certainly not neutral. It sends a very clear message, a dangerous message, that such political remarks can be tolerated, that political presence can shield this controversy, that this outrage will fade, and the system will protect its own. And that seems to be happening because Khattar has disappeared and the police is not after him. This is normalization of what has happened. Now comes to a very, very important question that is doing the rounds in Goa. Was Khattar hosted by the state? Was he hosted by the state machinery? Forget technicalities like state guest status and all that. Ultimately, was he hosted, given accommodation, given transport, and given all other facilities? Because a public event was attended by elected representatives. A controversial speaker was given a platform. Did the three MLAs attend as MLAs or as bhakts of the speakers on stage? Now, the state did not just allow this to happen, but by what has happened thereafter, it has legitimized Khattar's remarks, almost stating that this could happen in Goa and people could get away with it. Now, this is when it gets very serious. If no action gets taken against the minister, the MLAs, the organizers, what happens next? What happens next is that this becomes a template, a very dangerous template. Tomorrow, anyone can come in. Anyone can say anything provocative in the presence of political figures. And people will assume that the government is not just a spectator. The government is a silent partner. This is how social fault lines deepen. This is how identity gets provoked. This is how Goa, known for harmony, gets pushed into unnecessary conflict. Let me be clear. This is not about one man's offensive remark. This is about power. This is about responsibility. This is about accountability. If the government acts only against Khattar and ignores those who enabled him, then justice gets very selective. And that is dangerous. And selective justice is no justice at all. Goa certainly deserves better. Not outrage after damage is done, but responsibility before it begins. And more importantly, which is this organization that has suddenly cropped up that hosted Khattar? When was it formed? When was this Save Sanatan Murmugao chapter actually formed? What are the records of this organization? Where is it registered? Who paid for this entire program? Was it paid by our taxes? Who funds this particular organization? Where did the money go out from? Who paid the bills? These are questions that need to be seriously asked, and Goa should get real answers. Because the real question is no longer what Khattar actually said, while that is completely hurting, but that is not the moot point anymore. The real question is who allowed him to get away after saying it, and why are they still unaccountable? And these are questions that I will continue to ask, Goans will continue to ask, because we deserve answers and we deserve better. Thank you.